Hello, this is Steph. Welcome to my channel again. Today I'm going to show you how to use the complex filters, or better, the filter complex using FFmpeg. First of all, what are the filter complex? The filters complex are the complex filters. Filters complex is the options that you have in FFmpeg. Is that category of filters that require multiple inputs or multiple outputs to be working. We saw something in the past, for example, the concatenation. For example, with the GIF, we saw the split. So we have a rough idea about what a complex filter is. And now we're going to see something a bit better in detail. Here we have Windows already behind me. And the moment it's time to get started. Okay, here we are. We have the terminal at the top. This is the Windows terminal, so I changed from the CMD to this Windows terminal. It's super cool because what you can do is also to select the one that you want. So not only the command prompt that I'll be using most of the times, but the Windows PowerShell, develop command prompt for Visual Studio, the WSL, Windows Subsystem for Linux. I installed Ubuntu. I have something with Anaconda, Miniconda actually. Like to switch from one and the other or having multiple tabs here. It is super cool, and so I suggest it if you would like to go on coding and using the command line. So here we have two videos here on the left, where videos about Singapore. So the people who follow me on Instagram, I take advantage to give the my references about the social media here. I've been to Singapore recently and I would like to make a video about Singapore. I have a couple of videos here. Play Singapore 1, and this is the first video. You see how beautiful Singapore, the Marina Bay, and the marina here. Super cool. It's a nice place to be. And on the other, we have Singapore at night. This is a wonderful view, accelerated view of Singapore with the place seen at night. Cool. So we would like to make a crossfade. So it is a transition from a video to another, but in a linear way. So we don't want an abrupt change from one to the other. It's not a concatenation. Even if we did a concatenation, so I take advantage to show you the card about the concatenation. Here we used a filter complex actually, but what we would like to use is a so-called crossfade. So here we have the crossfade filter that is called X-fade. So the filter is called X-fade like this. And what we would like to use is FFmpeg -I and the filter, the files we want as input. So here FFmpeg -I Singapore 1 and then -I Singapore 2. These are the input files, and then we are immediately using the filter complex. So the filter complex is something that accepts multiple inputs, multiple outputs, and you can also apply multiple filters in. So here we have, for example, the first input and the second input. So here we can put 0 and 1 like this. So the input is put in this way before the name of the filter. So the name of the filter is X-fade, and after the equal sign, we got to put the filter configuration. So here we got to put the parameter transition. Here my transition, I want to be a fade, so it's fading from a video to another. I got to set the duration of the fade. In this case, it is 1 second. And also, we got to put the offset. What is the offset? The offset is the time I want the first video to start fading out. So here in this case, I have a video that is more or less 10 seconds long, so I can put in the middle 5 seconds. And in the end, I can put the name of the parameters. So the name of the parameters are the codec parameters, libx264, preset, you can put preset slow, minus CRF, let's put it at 15, so not so, so a fairly high quality, but not the super high quality, in order to keep the space contained. And then we can put the name of the file. So in this case, we can say Singapore xfade.mp4, and let's see what happens. In this case, we have an error. What is the error? Here it says the first input linked main time base do not match the corresponding second input link xfade time base. So we have the time base, so the, let's say, the internal clock with which we are ticking the advancement from one frame and the other, that is not set correctly. So here this is faster than this. This has nothing to do with the frame rate. It's only the advancement in terms of timestamp that is present within the file. So what we would like to do is to set the time base to the default audio video time base. It usually is calculated with the frame rate, if I'm not wrong. So this is what I found out. So if you know, please correct me, but this is calculated based on the audio and the video time based. And so what we can do is to apply this before the crossfade. So what can we do? We are still, well, we can use the previous command. So we have the Singapore 1 and Singapore 2 files. This still accepts the two inputs. So here, let's put a bit of space, then later we are packing everything back. So what shall we do with the first input? With the first input, we said that we want to set the time base in order to put it to the audio video time base. So set TB equals to AVTB. These are capital letters. And then we're going to put the set PTS to the beginning of the PTS, as you can do. So start PTS. In this case, we need to give an output name. So in this case, it can be out0. This is our output file 0. And then we got to put a semicolon. The semicolon separates the different filters. So we have first the set TB, and the set PTS. Then we got this output that is separated by semicolon to the second output, and in the second input file. Second input file needs the same thing. So in this case, we have the set TB equals to AVTB. Then the set PTS must be equal to the PTS, then start PTS. And in this case, we're going to call this out1. So we have the output. So we got, just to sum up, the first input that we call 0, file 0, that passes through the set time base, set PTS, and it exits as out 0. Then we got the second, that is called 1, is right here, second 1. Then it's going through the same thing. So we got the set TB, set time base, and the set PTS, and it's called out1. So we got out0 and out1. after we have the out 0 and the out 1, we're going to merge them together in order to obtain a single output. In this case, there's no need to call the output because the output is just like a sync. We put the output unnamed, and here we got to put the first input and the the first output of the previous pipe and the output of the second pipe coming from the second file. So here we got to put out 0 and out 1, crossfade, transition, and blah blah blah, everything that we said before. And let's see if now it's working. Here it asks if you want to overwrite the file, and we click yes, and it seems the thing is working. Cool. So we wait a bit of time until this is finished, and here we see the speed that is more or less 3/4 of the original video. And now it's time to play a beautiful video. So we got the Singapore X fade, and here we go with the first input. We see that there's a transition from the first video to the second video. Cool. So I got to say that this thing about the set time base is a bit, say, not forecast. It's something that I didn't know. So most normally this is a thing that you shouldn't do, but so the crossfade is the necessary one. But so we saw a slightly more complex filter complex, so-called Filtergraph. So a thing that should be cool to use. Fine, that's fine. Filter complex. Okay, we have our crossfade video we just created, and now we are going to use it to make a video with the RGB together, all in a single video with a tiling. So original video, red channel, green channel, blue channel, and we use a filter complex. So to understand better how the filter complex are working, so we are using FFmpeg, and Singapore xfade.mp4 is our input file. Here we can repeat the input multiple times, but we use the split filter, which is a bit more clever, and so it makes us understand better how the filter graph is working. So we have the inputs and the outputs explained better with the complex filter we're going to use. So then we're going to use the filter complex. We use the accent to go to the new line, the triangle accent. And the next line will be the first line of the filter. So here we put the quote, and our input is the file. So we have the 0. Then we put a split. The split requires the outputs parameter. The outputs parameter, we have 3 channels. So we have 1, 2, and 3. In this case, how can we call them? We call them, let's say, V1, V2, and V3. So we have the 0, that is our input, then V1, V2, and V3, where that will be the input for the next filters. And what are the next filters? The next filters will be, so the filter is a lutrgb. Lutrgb. It stands for lookup table RGB. In this case, we can make correspondences between inputs and outputs, given the different channels in the RGB color space. And so lutrgb, this is a red channel. So we got to put the green at 0 and the blue at 0. And this will be our red channel. Then semicolon and a new line. V2, we have still the lutrgb, where we put, in this case, the red at 0 and the blue at 0, since we want the green channel. This will be RG. Okay, And the third line will be v3 lutrgb equals to a red of 0 and a green of 0, since we want the blue channel. And now we separated the three color channels, RG and B. Then now we want to put on the top line the input and the red channel. So we put a H stack, horizontal stack of these two inputs. And the same thing will be done at the bottom with the green and the blue channel. So here the next will be the input video 0 and a red channel. In this case it is an H stack that is equal to inputs. So this is the parameter that we need to accept. The H stack accepts inputs equals to 2, since we have the 0 and the R, and we name it top. This will be our top. Okay, and we do the same thing with the G and the B, where here there is an H stack with 2 inputs, and this will be our bottom. Okay, and now the final filter, the final one will be a vertical stack. So we put the top and the bottom together. And so we have the top and we have the bottom with a V stack equals to inputs, the same as the H stack will be in the V stack, equal to 2. Here we can select if we want to give an output, so the output a name or not. So here we can, for example, put out as output, but you got to keep in mind that here we got to put a map out in this way. If you want, you can put it, in this case, just to avoid, since the notation is quite long, putting something like this is a bit more shorter, and we understand better what it's doing, since the output is 1, so it's okay. Here, now it's time to put our options. So there is the libx264 preset. Let's put slow, and as a constant rate factor we put 18, so a fairly good quality, but not the maximum, just to contain the size of the file. And finally we give a name to it, so it can be Singapore crossfade RGB. As format we can put MKV. Let's see how it can be. Good. I think everything is okay. So to sum up, we have the splitting, 3 channels. Then we take the red, green and blue of the 3 channel we just output from the split. Then we have the horizontal stack, so we put the 2 videos together, respectively, the input and the red channels. Then we have the green and the blue together, and then we stack. Let's see if it is working, and it's working. Now we wait for the output to be generated. Now maybe it is a bit slow, but the video is not that long, and we wait until the end of the processing. Okay, now the processing has finished, and now it's time to play the video. So I think that the video will be too big for the screen, so I'm trying to open it with the VLC, and let's see what happens. And here we go. We have the input, the red channel, the green channel, and the blue channel, as we wanted. Again, if you would like to take a look about how the complex filters work and to build your filter graph, so again, we make a sum up and make this bigger. So to set your filter complex, it should be set with a filter complex. And then here we put the input, then the name of the filter, so filter with its parameter, parent1 equals to value 1, then the second value will be on the after the colon, then value 2, etc. And here we put the output. If we generate from a single input multiple outputs like the split filter, we put the out1 and out2, etc. So here we have all. Then with a semicolon we decide what to put in the next filter, and here we put the thing in this filter. So out1 and out, then we put the name of the filter, and so on and so forth. So the fundamental thing is input here, then output or outputs after the filter itself, and we go on and we go forward. To have a better depiction about the filters that we have here in FFmpeg, we can go with FFmpeg minus H filters. No, sorry, FFmpeg minus filters will show the list of all the filters that we have available. If you want to look for the filter of choice in Windows, you can use with a pipe find str, like this. Let's say split, and we'll find the one that is up to you. So here we have a single video with multiple video outputs, and here we have also things regarding the audio. So same thing that we did with the video, we can do it with the audio. So there's a crossfade for the audio as well. So it's called, I think, a crossfade. Check. Yes, a crossfade. We have a crossfade of 2 input audio streams, and here we got the X fade. We also have X fade open here. Might be useful. Maybe it has more parameters. If I want to check which are the parameters, here we have X fade. So the thing is FFmpeg minus H filter equals to X fade, and we can take a look at the parameters. So here we have the type of fade, the transition, and so on and so forth. Same thing that we did. Cool. Okay, so we saw something about the filter complex. I hope you enjoyed this. One of the most complicated things that you can do with FFmpeg actually, but it will help you a lot in case you want to automate your video generation process. So if you would like to make crossfades, you want to make fancy effects to your video, it's something you can do. So essentially, sometimes you want to make a slideshow of your vacation video. Essentially, you're doing something like this, or either you concatenate or you crossfade from one video to the other. There might be something else to say about the crossfading if you want to do it in a good way. So maybe it's a bit uncomfortable to have the offset from the beginning of the first video, and it might be annoying if you want to make a concatenation with a crossfade. It's something more complicated. But anyway, this is a powerful tool. You can look yourself on how to do it. So it's like an overlaying on multiple videos. Anyway, thank you very much if you reached up to this point. I hope you liked it. If you like it, like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be always notified with the new video I'll be releasing. And I remember you to subscribe and follow me on the social media I'm trying to maintain at least. So Instagram and TikTok for new content different from what I publish here. And I hope to see you next time with new content relative to multimedia and much, much, much more. Thank you very much, and ciao, ciao.